Hi guys, and welcome to a small comparison which has been requested by a few of my subscribers, which is the Allure against the DUNU SA6. And for good measure, I thought I would throw in the AudioSense DT600. They are all 6PA items, full nulls. This is a mix of Sonic and nulls. Each one of them has a different overall sound signature, you could say, with a different emphasis and focus on specific things, and their design premise is different. I've reviewed the Allure, and I compared it to its brother, the Neon, and I actually said that at the time I said it was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I stand by that. It's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because when you want it can play relaxed and and be very very correct, and when you want it can also have the guts to boogie, let's put it that way, and to play loud and with energy and be engaging. The comparison with the DUNU, well, there's the obvious reason, because people consider the DUNU kind of a reference, or a lot of people consider the DUNU kind of a reference in terms of a 6BA IEM, but at $550 it's serious money. So not everybody can stretch that far. So the big question here was, how does the Allure stand up to, let's say, the king or the holder of the top spot? This is shy on $400, so there's about $150 difference between the two of them, and the cheapest of the three here is the AudioSense. AudioSense is about $240. As I said, all of them have a specific sound. The AudioSense in stock format, and by stock I mean without the usage of this impedance adapter, it is an IM which you listen to it, but it doesn't really show its. You can sense there's potential there, but it's not being shown. The moment you add a impedance adapter, and I used to use the 80 ohm, but I've now come to the conclusion that the 36 ohm is actually a better option. It just completely changes this. It has a serious sub-bass focus. From the first time I listened to this IM, the first thing I noticed was, wow, this thing can really go down low, and it goes really low. And by 100 and something hertz, 140 hertz at the most, it's flat already. So very much sub-focused. Stays flat until 1K more or less, where it starts having its pin again, peaks at just over 2K, and then it kind of goes up and down, but it stays more or less flattish, then drops off and then picks up again for a little bit extension past 10K. It's a super detailed sound. Actually, before I get into the sound, in terms of construction, every single one of these IEMs is a work of art in their own right. You can see that there's true passion in what in the design of them. I mean, you look at this AudioSense, the DT600, beautiful IEM. You look at the Allure, and again, this green, the emerald green, is so nice. I mean, really beautiful IEM. And the DUNU, true work of art. These are all, I mean, this thing, you can see, was designed by somebody that had taste, period. This is actually the stock cable. Beautiful cable, modular, brings the 3 different types of adapters. I mean, really nice. As I was saying, in terms of the sound, bass is super deep. It goes super low, it's really effortless. It's got a nice kind of a harmonish type of signature. You could almost, yes, you could say it's a harmonish kind of signature with a little bit of a sub-bass focus. Super detailed. I mean, detailed retrieval here is really good. In terms of the rest of the technicality, soundstage, imaging, soundstage it's fine. It's decently wide, but not the deepest or the tallest. Imaging is again, well, actually, imaging is pretty decent. Imaging is pretty decent considering imaging is pretty decent. Tonality and timbre, it will be very much dependent on what you're listening to, but you know, you don't get that typical coldness of BAs. It's got a nice tonality to it, and with a lot of the music that I listen to, you know, it really there's lots of times where if it was said that it had a DD there, you wouldn't say that they would be lying. Okay, so it's a nice sounding IEM, and an IEM that I think, like many others, sometimes just hasn't gotten the deserved attention and love, and it's a pity. Um, the Allure is a baby version of the Neon, and by that I mean it's full and energetic. Um, when it is supposed to be composed and play in a more audiophile manner, it can manage it, but you do notice that, for example, compared to the DT600, it doesn't have the ultimate treble extension, so detail retrieval, although good, is not on the same level as on the DT600. Um, the mid bass is a little bit more prominent here, and you do notice that that's the focus as opposed to sub bass. And yes, it's not that this is worse or better than that, it's just the focus here on the lower frequencies is different. This is more mid bass focused, this is more sub bass focused. However, having said that, it can go down, it can go deep, you know, pretty good. So it's not mids very nicely. Both female and male vocals are excellent, no real issues there. The only thing that can be maybe a problem, well, problem is a tough word, but can be somewhat, you know, of an issue is if you're looking for the ultimate audiophile reproduction. No, because of that emphasis in the mid bass, this can sometimes make male vocals sound a little bit more huskier than what they are, female vocals a little bit more fuller than what they are. But it's done in a nice way. It's colored. Yes, it's a V type signature, but it's nicely done. It's nicely executed, and I like the Allure. I mean, compared to the Neon, I actually think this is a better IEM, honestly. Compared to the Neon Pro, which I'm not going to be comparing it, but compared to the Neon Pro is on a different league. Seriously, the Neon Pro is on a different league, completely different. SA6. You listen to the bass of this, especially with the switch on, which is what I have, and it's a DD. You'll have to have a very you'll have to be listening carefully and have a very good ear to say that this is not that this is BA playing. It sounds just like a DD. It doesn't have maybe the ultimate rumble that a DD can have, but the majority of DDs out there in earphones, this thing is on that level. Let's put it that way. And the majority of good quality stuff. I mean, the closest that you can come to this in terms of sound on a more traditional, well, on a hybrid, for example, would be the Blessing 2 Dusk, for example. Okay, the Blessing 2, no, simply because it has less bass than this. But the Blessing 2 Dusk would be a very close, similar bass to this. Okay. The transition into the mids, flawless. It's perfect. So the you know the flow from the sub bass to the mid bass and then into the mids is absolutely perfect. The mids again are absolutely, I mean, really well executed, really well executed. More so the female vocals than the male vocals. And then it does have a little dip there at around 5K, which is not present on these two in such a prominent manner. And it's not that these ever get sibilant, no, never. But this one definitely doesn't get sibilant. Okay, and then you have again a little bit of a not a really peak at 6-7K, then drops off, and then there's a little bit of extension. And the funny thing is, when you actually look at the graph, you think that this is going to be relatively dark sounding, and no, it's got plenty of treble, plenty of upper treble and air, and plenty. Where does the SA6 have its fault? And especially, and mind you, it's not that it's a fault, but you know, you have to consider it costs $550, so your expectations will be on that level. Its technical capabilities are not what I would at least expect for that kind of money. So soundstage, it's average, um, decently wide, not deep or tall. So we're talking about the same thing as a DT600. Um, the Allure, by comparison, has slightly wider, and you can get perception of depth. Okay, height as well. So I mean, none of these in terms of soundstage are amazing. Let's put it that way. In terms of imaging, they very much as well equal to each other. Okay, it will be very much a question of genre and what song you're listening to and so on. Detailed retrieval is best on the DT600 and on the SA6. The Allure falls behind a little bit there, but the biggest, well, not calling card, but the biggest thing that the SA6 has, and again it's something which, for example, the RSV from Softhears also has, is its tonality and timbre. That's where it just beats the rest of them. I would even go as far as saying the tonality and timbre of the SA6 is on occasion better even than the RSV, and the RSV is known for that. Okay, the RSV is known for being a very well tuned BA that doesn't sound like a BA, and this only on certain occasions you actually do pick up that it's a BA, but very few occasions. Okay, with some brass instruments, some female vocals, yes, but overall in this comparison here, it is the best one in terms of tonality and timbre. And like I said, in some occasions it even is better than the RSV. But that's its biggest thing. It's tonality, it's timbre. It's got amazing bass. The bass on this is absolutely unbelievable. As compared to the Allure, I would say that yes, it lacks a little bit of mid bass, but it makes up for it in sub bass, and makes up for it in terms of the quality of that bass. Mids, they very much equal to each other, and then upper hand extension, the SA6 is better. What does, well, all of this basically mean? It means that yes, this ultimately does win in terms of overall sound, but the difference is not a difference, in my opinion, that justifies a price jump as significant as this. Okay, we're talking $150+ of price difference, and honestly, with I like the SA6, I like the Allure. There isn't enough there, in my opinion, to justify that price increase. I think that the decision here between an Allure and the SA6 is a decision which will probably come down to, do you want a more energetic or a more smooth, laid-back presentation? And that's the biggest difference that lies here. The same thing as was already the case with the RSV and the original Neon. And that's why it's a delicate thing to compare and to say which one is better or which one is worse, because the design premise is different. This is supposed to be more energetic, more fun and engaging, although it can be audiophile, while, for example, the Neon would struggle to do that. This, in terms of wanting to listen to music and being correct, is better than the Neon. So it's a better executed, let's say, colored set. That there is more correct all the time. It's more smooth. The SA6 is all about smoothness, relaxed, easy listening, and its real downfall is only its technicalities, because if the technicalities were on par with what its price is, I think that the SA6 would have been way more successful than what it was. And and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, going back to the construction and to the fit, they all, or you know, the Allure is the biggest one. Let me just pick up here the right side, so I compare right with right or left with left. But yeah, here we go, left with left. So you can see that the Allure is a big boy. But actually, funny enough, when you put it in, it fits perfectly. I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's not it's not in the way or no, it fits perfectly. The one thing I would say about the Allure, well, all of them, and a lot of IEMs in general, but one thing I would say about the Allure is choose your tips carefully. These work very well, not only with these 07 KB ears, but they work very well with the oh my god, I forget the name, the radius, forget the name. Anyway, I'll put the name of the tip or on the description. So tips for the Allure is something that you know, you have to make sure you choose the right one. Firstly, because the size, since you know, doesn't allow for the earphone to actually go more inside of your ear, so the tip will be the one that actually holds it in there, and the tip here will then make or break the sound. If you're not careful with the tip that you choose, and as much as possible try and use a wide bore, okay, it will sound very thick. It will sound very thick. And the one thing that's actually quite, I was actually quite curious about the Allure was that the hardware used is good quality hardware, so it's good quality null stuff, but it's actually very basic models. It's 22955 for the bass, and when you hear the bass that this thing can put out, you actually ask yourself, wow, that's, you know, because Sonian bass has a very typical characteristic. You know, when you have some experience, you can pick up on it and say, oh, okay, that's Sonian for sure. And the same thing goes for specific models of Knolls. And the 22955 is an easy, once you have that experience that I mentioned, you can pick up on it. And when I heard it, I didn't think it was a 22955 actually. It sounds very full, very mature. And it's well done. It's been well tuned. So that's it, guys. That's my take. I hope I was able to answer questions here. Allure definitely a worthwhile option in this let's say mid-tier segment of IEMs. If you're looking for something that is fun and engaging, and you know, if you want something smooth and relaxed and so on and so forth, well, you'll have to spend more money. But SA6 and the DT600, really, look, it's a nice sounding IEM. I love it to death. Its only real flaw is that it needs an impedance adapter, and by using an impedance adapter, you really have to give it some power, because then if you don't have enough power, this thing just doesn't shine. All right. Anyway, guys, as always, please like and subscribe. Any questions you want to ask, please feel free. And yeah, I've got a lot more reviews coming your way. I've got a review. Just check this out quickly. A little spoiler alert. Let's see, who knows what this is. Tinker H16, the new IM 8BA IM from the AudioSense family. So I've got that coming up as well. I've also got this coming up as well, which is the Leisurely L8. All right. Okay, guys, take care. Bye-bye.